Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Step Up Talks. I'll be your moderator today. We'll be talking about youth, ICT, and business. And we have our guests who are going to help us understand online jobs, job opportunities when it comes to the ICT sector in depth. So I'd like to introduce them. They tell us something about themselves before we continue. Charles, karibu sana.
Yes. Good morning. My name is Charles. I have a company called Pipiro GL. We work online. We do graphic designs and cross designs. I'm also an agricultural economist in profession. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. Bwana Samuel, karibu.
Yes, thank you. Good morning. My name is Samuel Baraza. I'm currently the team lead at Skyzone Communications, which is a digital marketing agency that is focused on developing web applications, registering domains and hosting, doing what we call search engine optimizations that can help these websites rank high on different search engines. We also do social media marketing and advertising as well as branding. So my experience basically is in leading a number of projects, web-based projects, and also mobile projects for different types of organizations. I've been involved in both local and international organizations, mostly in the NGO world and also the SACCO field. So I'm actually happy to be part of this discussion, and I'm looking forward to it.
Asante sana, Bwana Samuel. Neville, karibu sana. You can introduce yourself.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Neville Ila. I am a forex trader. I trade mostly currencies, and I've been working on it for the last 5 years, but consistently profitable for clocking 2.5 years now. Mostly, I'm privileged and humbled to be in this platform today, because at least I'll be able to reach youth out there and inform them the truth about forex trading, the loopholes, the ins and outs, and what we can be able to do even to scale in it as an industry. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Bwana Neville. Anne, karibu sana. You can tell us about yourself.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Anne Wafula. Today I'm on the other side, and I'm really excited about it because this gives me an opportunity to do what I love, which is actually transforming the lives of the youth. I'm passionate about youth because I know they are the leaders of today, and my transformation for the youth is more in terms of sharing knowledge, sharing experiences, and sharing networks. So I'm really looking forward to this session and seeing how best the youth can actually leverage on the opportunities in the ICT sector. Thank you.
Asante sana. Thank you. Karibuni to our audience and to our panelists. Now, the first question to Charles. How did you start and where did you start? Charles, sorry, your mic is mute. Kindly unmute.
I started doing online jobs in 2015. Before that, I had a consultancy job in currently it's known as the National Agricultural Research Institute. That is CARI. We were doing research on the genetically modified organisms, that is GMO. So I had so many opportunities. I went for a master's during that time. I had a consultancy job with the World Agroforestry Organization. We traveled to different places. It was all good until now I had to look for a job that was a bit permanent. But things did not work the way that I expected. So I started looking for opportunities that would at least help me settle some of the bills that I had. I did some consultation with organizations that I'm a member of, like soccer. We went to different places. We did advocacy work, but still I was not able to meet all my bills to fulfill and have an enjoyable life as an educated person. So I started looking for other opportunities. So I went online. Before that, I had bought a few computers. Just to add on, I started by going to the world of games. I started gaming online. I thought there was money there, but the money was not there. So I started also doing. It's good that Neville is here. I went to stock exchange. I lost a few shillings there, but I realized online working is a bit tricky if you are not sure of what you are bringing to the table. So I decided to concentrate on what I had gone to school for. That was agricultural economics. I joined the Upwork. I started working as an individual there, but I also realized they want a team to work with, not a single individual. So I started Pipiro GL. One of my teammate was actually my wife, that is. So she's also an agricultural economist. So we were there as a team. We started getting some few jobs. But we also found that between the wait for one job to the next, there was a lot of time. You would wait like for. Then I dug into my talent. I have a talent on graphic design. So I started designing posters. I started small. I would do Photoshop posters, Adobe Illustrator posters. I also did some bit animation. And I thought I would also market the same on Upwork, but I realized there were other sites that were offering better opportunities without a lot of work, actually. So I joined a site called Fiverr. I would present my cartoon work there, and with time within a month I would make a good amount of money. I started getting comfortable on online work, and sometimes it didn't involve a lot of work, especially on Fiverr. You just post something, you wait for people to buy it. They would buy it without even consulting you. You just find there is a bit of your money there. You promise people to do things like I would draw individuals on Adobe Illustrator, and when you post them online, they would create a lot of fuzz, and you get people requesting for the same work. So that is how I got online, and right now I'm there, and I don't think I'm going to concentrate on other things much, because I'm making what I think is sufficient. I will still continue looking for more.
Thank you very much, Bwana Charles. Very interesting journey there.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to move to Samuel. Samuel, the same question still. Where did you start? How did you start? Your journey to where you are at the moment.
Yeah, thank you, Collins. That was an interesting journey by Charles. Now, with regards to Skyzone, we started way back in high school. Let me just give you the journey from high school until probably where I can now comfortably say now we were stable. Now, way back in high school, we used to choose courses based on what the top people, the top students in the previous years in national exams had chosen. So throughout my 4 years in high school, most of the top students used to choose either computer science or software engineering. I never knew what computer science was. I never knew what software engineering was. But at that time, you go with the flow. It's like a tsunami. You just go with the flow. So when it got to my time, I also decided to choose computer science, because I actually saw that if the previous students have been choosing that, then it would make sense for me to do that. Little did I have any idea of what computer science was. Initially, I wanted to be a lawyer, but I was kind of guided by the previous students. So I went to the university and did computer science. Now, in our first year in the university, I got a friend of mine who introduced me to another club within the university called Computer Science Club. I'm sure for those people who've been to college, you have all these clubs for different courses. If you're doing mathematics, there's a mathematics club. If you're doing IT, there's always a club for that. So this guy introduced me to Computer Science Club. So the first session I went, the first meeting I went, because they used to meet every Tuesday. The first meeting I went, I actually understood nothing. It was like Greek to me. Remember, I was in my first year, first semester. Here I was, I didn't know anything about computers. I just came to do computer science because other people were doing it. So I decided to join this meeting upon the invite of my friend. And in the first meeting, I knew nothing. But now this friend of mine kept encouraging me. And in the second session, I went and researched more. And remember, my time when I was in the university, we didn't have fiber. We had the previous internet. I don't know what it was called. But since you're in a university setup, there are so many people sharing the same internet connection. So you cannot go to YouTube to do your research. So you go to libraries, take books, and research. So I slowly by slowly, I gained interest into what these people are discussing in this computer science club. And after a while, I started understanding what the concepts that these people are actually talking about. They used to invite people from the industry who are practicing all these aspects of computer science, that is coding, issues to do with networking, computer networking, issues to do with artificial intelligence and all that. So they used to invite people who are actually practicing in the actual field to come and talk to us, who are students and didn't understand how computer science has an impact out there. So they would talk to us, tell us what programming tools that they were using, basically what was currently in use in the market. So we started doing research based on those tools that were in the market, and we would do projects, one or two things here and there, just to make sure that we became experts in those particular programming languages and the tools. I remember my first project that I did in my first year was what we call a Hello World project, where we just developed a page that would tell you Hello World. And to me, that was like the best accomplishment I ever made since I was born, because I had never understood really the concept of computers. So from that, it actually gave me more morale and more boost to actually continue, researching more and more of what this whole idea of programming is all about. So In collaboration with other members of the club, we continued doing more research, and we became experts. Not within a day, of course, but I can say in my second year of study, I would rate myself as an expert in one of the programming languages that was in use at that time. So there was this one session where they invited one person who was a practicing business person in the ICT world, and he came to talk to us about how to apply ICT in business. Remember, we came to the university not to start our businesses, because that is always not the concept of you going to the university. You always go to the university, so once you're done, you get a good job, and that is it. So this person brought a new aspect of business in ICT. And I actually started now gaining even more interest into the business side of ICT. He kept telling us that the best advantage that ICT students have is that you can start your business way back even before you graduate. Unlike jobs where you have to graduate to get a degree, take your degree certificate to whatever company you're applying a job at. In this case, ICT, what matters is your skills. Are you able to do one or two things? So I got excited about the opportunity, and he gave us a challenge. He told us, you can partner two people within this club. Just choose one person that you think you can work with. Go register a business name. Not a company, but a business name. Because he told us you cannot transact a business with a company as an individual. So we took up that challenge. At that time, registering a business name was, I think, 800 bob. So we decided to contribute each 400, me and my partner. At that time, we registered the company, a business name called Sadora IT Firm, me and my partner. And we started sourcing for projects, because at this time we knew what websites were. And it was a new concept at that time. So we kept approaching companies, just doing websites at 5K. Though the website itself, if somebody else looked at them, they would say this is a very, highly valued website. But we would not charge much, because we didn't understand that the financial aspect of that. So we'd take 5,000, we'd take 2,000, we'd take whatever amount that was given to us. And since we're in the university, that was really good money for us. So finally, in our final year, we did a project. Personally, I did what we call a transport and logistics system that could manage a transport and bus company and logistics company. So once we did this, I was like, okay, why can't we just apply this in the real world? So we approached a number of companies in the transport and logistics sector, but only one bus company accepted, not because they were going to pay us, but they just wanted to, do like what we call a piloting, like a test run, so that we can use that as portfolio to approach other companies. They didn't promise anything, but they said once they implement it, they would be able to get back to us as to whether they'll pay us or not. So we graduated, and we even forgot about this bus company where we had implemented the system. Once we graduated, I went into employment. I was employed by a company that was doing bulk SMS, short codes, and all those things, a technical company. But at the same time, I was still running, at that time, Skyzone was called Sadora IT Firm. At that time, me and my partner were still running this business as a side hustle. But now one of the challenges we faced was the fact that most clients were asking us, where can I come see you? Like they wanted an office. So I remember there was this one relative of mine who had an office just within town, the CBD. So I talked to her, and she said, it's okay, you come. She's one of our mentors at that particular startup phase. She actually incorporated us into the business, into her own office, and we started using as well. So what we just did was to print a banner for Sadora IT. So whenever a client would say they are coming to see us in the office, would roll down her banners and roll up ours, so that if somebody comes into the office, they think it's Sadora IT Firm. We would actually use her office as the CEO office. Her staff was our staff. So anybody coming through would say, hey, this company is big. Given the amount of money you quote for that project, they would gladly take. Unlike if it was just a briefcase company, it would actually be hard to convert some of these clients. So that is actually how we started. from there, we gained 1 or 2 projects that were actually worth a lot of money, where we decided now to set up an office. Of course, with the guidance of that relative, because she was already in business for quite a while. So we set up a very affordable office, just a 1-room office, where we now at least started from scratch. But now, that was way back in 2012. Now remember, there was an election in 2013. One thing that we need to understand is a year before election, I don't know what happens, but it's like the people decide just not to do business. So we kind of went back a bit because we didn't have so many clients to make the business sustainable, to pay rent, to pay all those. So we had to close the office. And one of us actually had to go back to employment to be able to sustain the expenses that we would undertake just by running the business at home. So I decided just to focus on the business, and the other partner decided to go into employment. After that, after the elections, 1 year down the elections, that is after staying 2 years working from home, we actually got back up and got an office, and that is where we continued. We've been applying for tenders since then. We get 1 or 2 tenders here and there, and that is the journey of how we started, basically.
Wow, very, very interesting. The apps. So before we go to, I'd like to add a little bit to come and say something. There's a lot I've gotten from Charles and Samuel. The journeys, you start small and slowly by slowly with everything that you push on to where you are right now. So, Anne, what can you say about the way they started from someone's office and moved on slowly to now where they are? Anne, your mic is mute. Kindly unmute.
Thank you. Now, I was just saying that it's quite encouraging to see that they chose a path and consistently followed through. But even before choosing the path, there was a bit of a gray area. Like if you listen to the story of Charles, he kissed many frogs, literally, just trying to find out what do I need to do, as he was researching online on what he can do. And that is something that probably as youth we need to be ready for, that before you land on something that you can actually tap into or you're comfortable with, you might have to try a number of things. So if I do this and I'm not comfortable, it's not the end of the world. Let me try other things until I find something that I am comfortable with. Looking at what Sammy mentioned, the issue of role models, the issue of mentors comes into play. When you are starting out, especially when you're in the learning curve, like Patrick normally likes to talk about, at that learning curve, you need somebody to show you the way. And from Sammy's story, Sammy's journey, he had the benefit of having somebody in the university who actually shared with them what they need to do and brought light for them. He had somebody in the business world who was ready to shelter him. Normally, for me, like when I started business, I was told, fake it till you make it. And that's basically what he did, trying to get an office. Because I know way back, if you didn't have an office, nobody wanted to talk to you. And like now, I think COVID has actually changed the world. And now working from home is okay. But before that, if you didn't have an office, nobody would talk to you, nobody would give you business. So having somebody to provide that is actually something to be, them looking for it, it's something that is very encouraging. And right now, and what came out of that is you find right now there are places where you get shared office space, and you can choose to pay per month, you can choose to pay per day, or even the number of hours. And some of these spaces actually have boardrooms. So if you want to present a certain image, then you can go and hire the space for whatever duration that you need and give that professional image, because it's important. And just as Sammy said, that the money that you're going to charge is commensurate with the perception that the client will have of you. Then also something that has come up is the issue of research. In as much as you land on something, ICT is a very dynamic area. Things keep changing every day. So there is need to continuously research on that particular area that you focused on so that you're always on top of things. Right now, the technology that is being used is not the same as what was being used 2-3 years ago. Look at phones. Every year, new phones are coming out, new models are coming out. Even in 1 year, you might find 2-3 models within the same company being launched. What does that mean? It means technology keeps on changing. So there is need, if you're in the ICT sector, you have to keep on researching to know what's happening. What is the latest thing, the latest trend? Something else that I have picked from their story is the aspect of a business model. In as much as ICT might sound sexy, and sorry for using that word, but it might sound sexy, it might sound like it's the in thing. Bottom line is, if there is no business model to support it, then you're not going to make any money out of it. And the business model will help you have the learning curve part of it. It will help you to be able to understand the break-even period, so that even if you're not making money, even if you have to sell things on credit, you know that this is part of the business model. I will start making my money maybe 3, maybe 6 months down the line. So that is very important, that in whatever sector you choose within the ICT field, have a business model to go with it. Lastly, in terms of what they have shared, the issue of projects in schools. Many of the schools, tertiary institutions, there is always a unit where you do a project. Now, unfortunately, many of those projects just end up on shelves. And I always encourage people, and I think this, we have also talked about it in the previous sessions, let us translate those projects into actual business ideas. Because as we are right now with the ICT field, it doesn't have to be a big project. Just look at something small that can solve a small problem. Start from there, and then we move up. But my challenge to the youth today is, if you're still in school and you write a project that you can actually convert into a business idea. Write a project, just as Sami said, that you can come together as a club, you can come together with 1 or 2 people from the club and see how to translate that into a business idea. Then slowly, with the business model that you have come up with, you are able to actually expand that particular idea and solve challenges that people face in the community. And one of the things that we do as Titans, coaching and mentorship, is actually to provide that guide. So if you are in that space and you don't know what to do, just reach out to us through the comments that people are making. Reach out to us, and we'll be able to share with you some of the tools that you can use to start setting up that particular business, to translate that project idea into a tangible business idea. I think that is what I can share for now. As we keep on hearing the stories, I'll share more. Thank you, Collins.
Thank you, Anne. And I like the way you picked the words kissing a lot of frogs, because sometimes you go through a lot, you have to check, go through one, go through the other before you settle for one. Now, allow me to move to Neville. Neville, kindly tell us, how did you start? Where did you start? Up to where you are at the moment.
Okay, thank you so much. So basically, I said I was in college, Ricati Business College, when I was introduced to trading. And it was just, I was in the class of networking, because I've done also Cisco networking. And then there's this guy who was sitting next to me, and his name was Ron. Now, Ron, every time the lecturer was done with the day's lecture, and the lecturer walks out, Ron used to put on these big headphones and just pull up a chart in his laptop and just continues doing whatever he's doing. So I was like, what is this you're doing? What is this you're doing here? And then Ron tells me, by the way, I trade Forex. I was so hooked in the moment, and I decided, let me let me see how this guy does. So he started taking me through this bunch of strategies that have to involve mathematics, calculating a lot of things, and I'm like, that is not pretty much my thing. But I enjoyed the numbers because I came to realize for trading, it's more of a numbers game. So what do? The next week I deposit $50 into a trading account and I start trading. Actually, in the first 1 minute, I made $3 cash, first 1 minute. And I was like, if I can make $3 in 1 minute, maybe I can make, how much can I make in 1 hour? How much can I make in 1 day? What about a year? Maybe I'll be in the Forbes list by the time it's 2 years. But the thing was, that was my emotions talking, because the reality on the ground was that if I'm to make even a more consistent income from this thing, I'd really have to work it out. And that is something that did not hit me then. Long story short, I ended up blowing up the $50. So it went like that. And then I came back again. I came back with around $200, blew it up again. And then I came back in, a friend of mine helped me with $1,000, blew it up again. And I'm in this cycle of losing money until I asked myself, am I still the person who made $3 in 1 minute, or what is it here? Now it hit me that I didn't have a solid work ethic. My emotions were all over the place, and my focus was just money, which even made money elude me even more. So around 2016 there, mid-2016, towards the end of 2016, I decided to build a solid work ethic, which was like waking up at 3 a.m. And totally it was just about the market. So just about the market, studying, looking at all these loopholes here and there, every single thing. And then 2017 is when the big break happened to me. And like I wish I could attach the screenshot of that account. I grew $100 to $600 in 1 week. That is around August of 2017. That really showed me that I'm really doing something. And then towards 2018, I could grow now $100 to $600 and now start growing like that. But why am I saying this? Is because to me, trading has become more of a clarity thing. Like if you're not clear, if in trading, the better you get, the more good you are at solving for X. You can be able to predict the next 3 to 5 moves of the market just by knowing what it is doing right now, and you can be able to say, okay, based on what I'm seeing right now, I can be able to see this and see this and see this. That comes easily with time, and it's something that now you're on the road to making good money in trading. As I'm speaking right now, I'm also humbled to say that trading pays my bills, and it's basically something that I would advise a youth to get involved in, but there's how you get into it. Because if you get into it with the ideology that you want to enter now and make a million by the end of the week, that is possible, but with your current emotional state and your current mental state, are you willing to handle 1 million Kenya shillings in 1 week? And you've never done that. That is the first question you need to ask yourself. Is your mental and your physical able to handle such amounts of money, and you're good with it? If you see that you're the kind of person who handles 1,000 shillings and it scares you, the best thing would be to work on yourself to be able to look at it from an objective issue. Money is just a commodity. The thing is, who are you becoming even as you're handling these things? So to me, it became more of a clarity issue, more of seeing things clearly, because trading can mess you up emotionally. I have friends who quitted trading, and I have friends who are really doing great in trading. And to me, I even learned that even by training some people. I also train people how to trade, because it's a simple strategy of how to look at the market. And basically, if you can be able to look at it clearly, I'm telling you, this thing can change your life. Apart from that, trading also molds you in character-wise. Remember here, you're being taught discipline emotionally. So trading molds you in character. So I can tell you that over the last 2-3 years of me being profitable, I can tell you that trading has molded me as a character. There are things that used to shake me before, but right now you find that you have less fear, you have more confidence, you have more agility, more persistence, more determination, more focus because of how the markets make you become. And on the flip side, if you let the market control you, trading can make you a worse person than you actually ever are. Another thing is trading can give you a certain freedom because in the country, this is something that is starting out. And I'm also humbled to say that CMA, which is our regulatory body, confirms that they don't tax traders. The money we make in trading is zero tax. Like you make profit in the market is zero tax. You just make it and it's yours. And these are some of the opportunities that I expect youth to take to, because if you're someone below 30, then liquidity should be where you go to, like you're building the liquidity base. And that is the game. Like in Kenya right now, the person with the liquidity is the person who has the voice. So if you build a good liquidity base, you're good to go. So in case if you have questions, I'm okay to ask. But those are my 2 cents with the forex trading. That's how I started until where I am now. What remains consistent is the work ethic. That doesn't stop anytime soon. Yeah.
Thank you, Neville. So you've told us about the losses that you started with, then now you went to understand what the market is all about. Now, just Anne, what I know forex is something a bit new to Kenya. From what you heard from Neville, what is your take?
Thank you, Collins. And just as you've said, forex is a bit of a new concept for people, just like the bitcoins and all that. But it's an interesting field. And just speaking from what Neville has said, what is critical is not going with emotions. Because unfortunately, when people hear forex, what gets the excitement that comes is I'm going to make quick money. It's not a quick rich scheme. If we go in with that mindset, then you totally lose it. So basically, what I would share from this is not just in forex, but any business that we get into, we must stay objective. We must know what is the motivation of getting into it. If the motivation is money, trust you me, you won't go far. But if the motivation is to provide a service, or the motivation, as he said, is just separating, knowing that this is what I want to do to generate income for myself, then you're going to be objective about it. And you will, similarly, just as I said, the business model, you'll come up with the business model. And I know many of the forex, the few that I've interacted with, they're actually people who've lost a lot of money. There's a friend who lost close to 10 million because of they came together, and unfortunately under that account everything was swiped because of being, for lack of a better word, being greedy, wanting to make a quick kill. But when you take time, learn, research, the issue of research comes in. You need to know the trends, you need to know the tools of trade, because if you do not know that, then it becomes a bit tricky for you to be able to understand how to go about it. The discipline that is required, and the discipline goes with all the other businesses. You know, people normally think that when you get into self-employment, you actually have a lot of time to play around, a lot of time to do what you want. But the reality is, you will have to put in more effort. You'll have to put in more time, because if you do not do that, then there's no output for you. There's no money you are generating. So for you to generate money, you must put in the time. And that is something that he talked about, the issue of character. So when you decide to go into self-employment within the ICT field, whether you're doing it for fun or what, there is that time, if you want productivity, that you must be committed, that work ethic must come in, professionalism must come in. You must do your research and make sure that you are actually up to date with what is expected within that particular field that you have chosen. And that brings me to the final point when it comes to what Neville has shared. At this particular time, in the youthful years, this is the time to invest in your future. This is the time to start planning for your retirement. You know, many people think planning for retirement should come at a later age. No. Once you get into the mode where you are starting a family, you are starting to get children, the responsibilities increase. But if you can be able now to leverage on ICT, which is a multi-billion sector. In fact, I was Googling online and I think it's close to 3 trillion, not even billion, it's $1 trillion. Imagine that amount of money in that particular sector. So if you're just to tap into that, what can happen? And you start, as Neville has shared, initially he was making losses, but then he got his act together and now he's consistently making money, and that is what is sorting out his bills. So if we have youth tapping into these opportunities from an objective mindset, looking at the opportunities, and not, at times, you know, people want to go big, at times go small. When you look at the micro and small sector, small enterprises rather, the micro and small enterprises, look at the agribusiness sector. There are a lot of opportunities to create ICT related solutions for them. Look at the health sector, a lot of opportunities to create solutions for them that are ICT based. So if the youth could just take time, the time that they are online, and actually apportion a percentage of that to want to see what solutions can we provide, then they can use that, whatever revenue they generate, they can use that to start investing and building a strong foundation for their future, for the retirement time that comes. I think that is what I can share for now. I'll share more as we go along. Thank you, Collins.
Thank you very much, Anne. That was very in-depth. Now, we have talked about the journeys. We've seen the good part, the pain, and so on. But now let's try and bring it out clearly, the good part. And I'd like to start with Charles. Charles, you've done these online jobs. What do you think are the advantages of online jobs?
Collins, just a minute, please. There's a comment, I don't know if you can see from...
Yes.
Maybe Neville can just assist with that before you go to the next question.
Okay, yes. I've seen a comment from Favored. And it says, can Neville share with us any risks associated with trading? Also, given that the government's ultimatum of declaring forex trading illegal, how does one survive in this market?
Okay, that's a very
Neville,
good question.
I hope you got the question. Yes.
Yes. So that's a very, very good question, and I'll answer it. So the risks associated with forex, number one, is that you can lose more capital than what you previously deposited, meaning you can lose more money than what you put there. That's the first risk. And two, if you're dealing with an unregulated broker, which is a very key step to look if your broker is regulated by the regulational authorities in your state or nation. If you're dealing with an unregulated broker, there is a chance that you might be inside a pyramid scheme, because one day your money is in, the next day it's out. It's gone. They have gone with it. Three, another risk would be if you don't have the right mentor. Me, I didn't have a mentor. That's why it has taken me that long. But if you don't have the right person in your ear, probably you will just be going round in circles, because the people around you would influence you positively or negatively. Another risk that is associated, the risk of, there is the emotional risk of, there's this time I started making money in trading, and you kind of feel like it's like you're entitled. It's like you'll continue making such kinds of money forever. I was sharing with Mr. Collins yesterday that there was this time I was making money, and I'm like, this roller coaster will continue for the longest time. But the moment you slip back on your work ethic, the moment you're not detailed anymore, the moment you're not looking at the small things, that's the path to fall. This is a game that you don't say that since today you've made X amount of money. Let's say you've made $1,000. tomorrow it's not guaranteed. That's the reality. I'll just have to tell you the truth the way it is. So the reality is you need to keep tabs every single day, and that goes with every other industry. You need to keep up every single day, especially IT, which keeps on changing, and Forex is no exception. On to the second question about the government. Now, the regulations with the government, our regulational body is CMA, Capital Markets Authority. They're the ones that regulate, they're like the FCA in London, the Financial Securities Exchange. Now, what they've done is that they've seen very few people that actually make real money in trading. Very few people. In Kenya, we have at least around 100,000 Forex traders. 10%, 1%, less than 1% make real money. Make less than 1%. That's like less than 1,000. And there's something I need to tell you. In every industry, in trading industry in particular, 100, if we are to pick about 100 traders, 80 of them don't know what they're doing. 80 traders don't know what they're doing. 9 of them, actually 10 of them are just targets. They're just being slaughtered. They're targets. 9 of them, that's 10. 9 of them are just trading. You know, they're just trading. They are putting buy, sell orders. Only one is the actual warrior there. Only one is the one who's going to make it there. Only one. And so the discipline in it comes in whether you understand that the government is not taxing this because they are trying to make it as an incentive. Remember, when the government is seeing a lucrative industry, they don't tax it yet until people come in, so that when they decide to tax, they can be able to make revenue from it. Make sense? Yeah, so basically for now, you can enjoy huge profits untaxed. That is the reality, because they look at it as a high-risk venture. That's why few people are making money from it. So you can jump on the opportunity with the right guidance and mentorship. I can guarantee you, because I'm a testimony to it, that this is something that can make you money. So I hope I've answered your question.
Thank you very much, Neville. Favored, I hope you got the answer. Now, from the risks that I was talking about, losing money, working with unregulated brokers, and not having the right mentor, not doing enough research for the market. Those are the risks that Neville is putting out there. And when I look at them, they actually also relate to the other types of businesses. If you don't do your research well, then definitely there's a problem. If you don't go through the right channels, it's going to be chaos. Thank you very much, Neville. And also thank you very much, Favored, for the question. And please keep them coming. Now, moving to Charles. Kindly enlighten us on the advantages of online jobs.
Okay. Online jobs, they have so many advantages. Let me just put it this way. The advantages of online jobs comes in twofold. It can be an advantage for only some time, for a period. But when it is extended, it becomes more of a disadvantage to you. So what am I saying? Let us look at one advantage that, like, everybody knows. You become your own boss. So you have the freedom to work when you want, to wake when you want, to do whatever you want at whatever time. But if you pull that that move of working at whatever time you want, it will only benefit you up to a certain point. After that point, now it becomes a disadvantage. But let us dwell on the advantage part. When you work online, it's a bit flexible. You can work from anywhere. You just have to have your internet and your device for working. That is a laptop, maybe a phone, or something. You can go to holiday spas and work from there, holiday lodges, work from there. You can be at home, you can be somewhere enjoying the breeze, maybe you can be in a cafe. That is flexibility, which is good. Now, the other advantage would be you are your own boss. You manage your time. You manage where you work from, all that. Now, okay, those ones will run up to a certain period, up to a certain point. After that, they are just disadvantages. But when you're online, you can work for different people. You can work on different projects. You can engage your talent, your passion, and what you have gone to school to do. Like for me, I do agriculture work. That is, I write academic papers. I also engage my talents like graphic design, and sometimes I do what Naviri is doing. That is a stock exchange. You see, you can engage in so many things at the same time, but you have to be able to know when to do what at what time. Once I remember, I woke up. My cousin was around, and I was working. I woke up at around 4 a.m. I had some academic. So I woke up at 4 a.m. Then he asked me, what have you come here to do? I told him, man, I'm working. He's like, but I thought you work online. You can work at any time. And I'm like, no, this is the time. I have to work on this. That is the good thing with the online job. The other thing is you get to spend some time with your family. That is, if you have a family, when you work online, you can create maybe ample time for your family, but don't let it fool you. You might you might extend the quality time, and your clients become you become a very unreliable person to work with, and you lose a lot of jobs. So also when you work online, you can there are some other advantages that you might benefit from, like you can call it even an advantage. You can be able to cheat on some things, but not for long. You can tell people you have an office and you don't. But you need to invest whatever you get so that you have a real office in the meantime. You have to work always to be better tomorrow. And that is one good thing with online jobs. You can have nothing today, you do some job, then tomorrow you invest, you have whatever you had to have yesterday, then you work for the next. It doesn't require that you have everything on the go. Like when I started trying to do some of what Navil is doing, I realized I was using only a phone, but I realized I needed a bigger screen. As you invest, you have to read. The phone cannot offer you that. You need a big screen to look at what you are doing, what people are doing, what are the factors you consider. There is so much you have to invest, but online jobs will give you that leeway to invest slowly, not abruptly. I think those are some of the advantages I've seen with online jobs. Yes, and you also have that ability to, if you have decided I'll do this today, I'll only concentrate maybe on my profession or my academic qualification, and you realize it is not working. You can easily jump to another thing and you specialize. Because online jobs also, like most of the people who are online looking for people to work on what they have as their projects, always like people who want to specialize on one thing. They don't really like people who are all over. They want you, please, I want this work done. Would you please come and please? Then you say when you give your portfolio, you have so much. most of them look at you as a beginner. So you need to be very specific on such. So most of the advantages of online working, they are advantages up to a certain point. So it's upon you to have the ethics and the emotional maturity to tone it down and to plan on what to do at what time. Then you have to also be to be able to differentiate between what you are selling and what you are actually offering. You can be selling your academic qualification, but what you are offering is quality service on the other side. So you have to have a balance between everything so that the advantages work for you, not against you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bwana Charles. I like the way you've put it. They are advantages up to a certain point. The flexibility, the time that you have, and also you've talked about discipline. You have to be disciplined to get there. Now, they are advantages up to a certain point. Now, from that certain point, they become disadvantages. And this will lead me to my next question, which will go to Bwana Samuel. What are some of the disadvantages and the challenges that come in when you're dealing with now, let's look at it from a bigger picture, ICT based businesses, be it online jobs, be it Forex, be it offering services that are in line with ICT.
All right, thank you, Colin. There are different number of challenges, and not really this. I don't like calling it disadvantages, but I call them challenges. First of all, we have to differentiate between my kind of business and the online business still within ICT. Now, like for example, for Skyzone, we deal with clients like physically. Online business, the client is on the other side of the world. You just do the job and they receive on the other end. So like I'll just try to differentiate between the two. For example, for Skyzone, as just an example, we sell services such as website development, domain registration and hosting. There's what we call search engine optimization. Now, in such a case, one of the biggest challenges that we face is most of these customers don't really understand what these services that you're offering are. So if somebody is interested in doing this, you must be very good in terms of even marketing your services in a language that your clients should understand. Remember, ICT is a technical thing. Most ordinary people don't understand so many aspects of ICT. So one of the biggest challenges that you're going to face, whether it's an online job or an offline or kind of traditional way of doing business, is that you're going to face a challenge in terms of explaining your services to the clients in a language that they are going to understand. Right? That was one of the main challenges we faced, because when you tell somebody, for example, if I tell you right now, we do search engine optimization, you will tell me you don't know what that is. So I have to really explain in a language that you'd understand. Now, from the online perspective, you'll find that the client is the one who asks for a service. So such a challenge might not be necessary, because it's the client who wants that service, and then you pick it up from the client and do it. But from the offline perspective, when you're approaching a client, you have to really explain that. Now, another challenge that offline, or rather, I'll call it traditional businesses face in ICT, is the issue of factors that you cannot control. And I think this also affects online business in some way. For example, I'll just give an example of COVID, right? There's COVID, there's also government legislations and all those things. So in one way or another, just as Neville had mentioned, and there was a question to do with government regulation, sometimes you might have a very good idea in the ICT world, but since this is a new idea, sometimes it's not encompassed in government legislations. And you cannot actually control that because that is beyond your control. Yes, the idea is very good, but there are some restrictions that you're going to have to, you have to actually seek interventions for. If you have your local leader, if it's something to do with government policy, you must do your advocacy and lobbying. If you really believe in your idea, you can get other people equally who are versed in your line, and try and get leaders who can actually change that policy. Because ICT, some of the businesses that are currently doing good online have not yet been introduced into the Kenyan market, and there has to be regulation for that. Recently, we had online businesses are now going to be taxed. That was nothing in the past. So there is also a challenge with regards to that, how to implement all those things. So you might be arrested by the law officers, not because you're not doing the business right, but simply because the law as it is does not really, there is no relationship between the law and what you're really practicing. The way the government understands your business is completely different from how you're doing business. So you might end up on the wrong side of the law, not because you've done something wrong, but simply because there's a mix or a confusion. That's why you had, just an example, you had of a company called SportPesa. It was a betting company. There was the issue of taxing. Now, it's not like SportPesa was not paying tax, but there was a difference in the way the government interpreted the tax that SportPesa was supposed to pay. So such are the challenges that you expect if you're starting an IT business, because you might have friction between you and the legal enforcing entities, because they might not really understand how you do business, and you also might not really understand how they've enforced the policy or the law on your end. Now, another challenge that we are going to face in the ICT field is your age, because we are talking, I think, with young people. People have perceptions about your age, especially for traditional businesses where you have to interact with customers. Your age is going to be a factor. So many people downplay young people simply because they think young people don't have the experience. They don't have what it takes to probably do the job. But such a challenge can actually be enforced, because this is something we also faced. So in our case, what we had to do was to do the job and allow the customer to pay on delivery. So once the customer is like, I don't trust you guys, where is your portfolio? What jobs have you done before? I cannot see them. Because when you're young, you're starting from ground zero. You don't have your testimonials from customers and all that. So that would be a challenge young people would face. But in such a case, if you really believe in the quality of your work and the quality of the service you give, just take that leap of faith. And especially if you're in the service industry, not on the products industry. Because service industry, you don't need like that much capital. You can decide to tell the client, I will deliver this service to you in this particular period of time. And after that, let's have an agreement that you're going to pay me. You don't need to place any deposit, but let me do this job for you to prove that we can do this. And if you feel like this is the quality of work you'll do, then let's have the agreement and you'll pay at the end. That way you get the customer's confidence, and at the same time, you'll actually slowly build your portfolio. Now, there is also the issue of capital. Young people don't have capital. When you're doing, probably like Charles at some point would need a computer, not just a normal computer. The specs that are needed are actually out of this world, especially if you're doing things like graphic design and all that. Neville will tell you he cannot do online forex trading without a computer. So there has to be, you need some cash kidogo for purchasing such equipment. So in such a case, I think for me, I would still ask people to also refer to your close friends and family. You'll have a friend, you'll have a family member who will have that equipment that you need. For example, for people who are in photography, I'm sure you have a friend. You're interested in photography, but you don't have that professional camera. You must have a friend within your circle who has that particular camera you want. Talk to them nicely. If you're in computer business, maybe your online jobs and all that, maybe you don't have internet, but you have the laptop. Your friend's house next door, they might actually have installed internet. Go ask them if you can use their internet and all that. So, by doing all these things, we are actually, eliminating one barrier from the other, especially as young people, because we cannot be able to afford all those things. And lastly, young people are quick to change business ideas simply because of the perception that one business is not working. So you might find, like, for example, you started so well, you've seen somebody doing something similar, and it's something that can work. But the problem is we don't want to take that time we don't want to take that time to build the foundation of the business to a point where now customers will start trusting us to give us more business. So we end up thinking that the business idea is not working, our vision is not really that legit. So we end up just leaving that idea out and start another one, not remembering that when you're starting another one, you've started from zero, yet the other one that you had started was actually on a higher level. So young people need to understand that there is value in waiting, in patience, waiting for you to build the foundation of your business and ensure that with time, slowly by slowly, you grow your portfolio and the trust is built, the confidence is built, and most clients now will start working with you. So basically, that is what I can share with regards to the challenges. Also, make sure you understand the timing, especially if you're in the traditional businesses like us. Elections come, and during election time, businesses are low. So make sure as you're doing your planning and budgeting, budget around such periods because they affect businesses so much. Things like COVID that are unexpected, make sure you just try to adjust your business model such that it works with whatever calamity, whatever pandemic is currently there. If your prices were slightly higher now during the COVID pandemic, most businesses are not doing well, try to lower your prices so that you can accommodate more businesses who would want to take advantage of IT to improve their businesses. So basically, that is what I can share with regards to the challenges that we face and maybe the solutions that we can do.
Thank you very much. Actually, I like the way you've brought up the challenges, and in the same breath, you've also given the solutions. So I believe the youth are listening to what you just said, building the trust by having quality products. That is very, very interesting. Building portfolio. And also the capital. If you need capital, you should be open to ideas of how you can get your capital, not just having a very good idea and closing yourself in a cocoon and saying, I am waiting for that time. The youth like using the term kuomoka. Nangoja kuomoka, alafu nitaanzisha hii business. So thank you very much, Bwana Samuel. Now, I'm seeing that we've really killed our time and now we are running on negatives. So I'll move ahead to call for your closing remarks. And as we are doing that, as we are giving our closing remarks, I'd like us to also just touch on that mistake that you did when you're starting or somewhere in between your business that you would wish to tell the youth not to do it. In just less than a minute, let me start with Neville. Karibu.
Okay, thank you so much. Once again, that's a nice question. So the mistake that I did when I was in trading, and that which I would never want a person to do was there's this time around end of 2018. I was doing so well. My strategy was really great. I was really on top of my game. So I decided to open the doors and have like 5 people deposit not less than $5,000, which is $500,000 Kenya shillings, into their trading accounts. Then I'd trade them. And I started with one account, and with one account I was making like 70,000 a day. So normally I would cap the client. I tell the client, I'll make you 20,000 a day. Anything above 20,000 is mine. The client would agree because 20,000 a day, that is great. But I'd end up making like 70 to 100,000, so I eat 80,000. So greed drove me, and this kind of greed is called a positive greed, where you just want to do good for yourself and and you're good at your craft, so you're just expanding. So I got 5 people, and I was making money, because at that peak I was making close to 100 to 350,000 Kenyan shillings a day in personal profit. Now, one day the broker, I hadn't looked that the broker had issues with their system. So one day we woke up, the money was not there. So all these clients are on my neck, and they're like, you have lost our money. We need our money back and stuff. And it was a really crazy period, because there was a lot of back and forth. There was a lot of, they had to understand it was not me and everything. So I wouldn't advise any trader to go and take people's money as such. Yeah, it's good because it will make you a lot of money, but you just need to go and build your money. It might be that $50, build it slowly by slowly. It might be that $100. You build it, compounding it, keep your money tight, keep your game tight. And that is the one mistake I would not, I would really advise a trader to not get into. Because if there was a solid agreement between me and this client, I would have probably not been taken a hit, because I took a 2.6 million Kenyan shilling hit. I had to pay them. And that was crazy. Yeah, so that was the mistake. And I wouldn't advise a person to go that all out. Yes, and anyone interested in trading, you can hit me up. My number is right there in the screen below. And keep your work ethic tight. The game here is work ethic. Don't slow down just because you're making some money. Just keep your work ethic tight, whatever the season. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bwana Neville. Start slowly and be disciplined. That is what we are getting from you. Asante sana. Charles, your parting shots and that mistake that people should avoid.
Back in 2017, I was trying to register a product in Kefis for somebody. So at the same time, I got a contract on Upwork, and it was paying quite well. And I made my choices. I left the Kefis job because I had to walk, to go there physically, follow up on things. I thought it was a lot of work. So I left that and concentrated on the Upwork job. Eventually, the Upwork job had so much complication. I only got half of what was supposed to be there. That translates into losing money because of being, I don't know whether I was greedy or something, but I will not encourage any youth to leave what he can do physically and like proper employment and all for online jobs. They are always what is promised might not be the final pay or final promise. What you actually get might be quite different from what you were promised. So I would encourage everybody, like if you want to work online, much as you are working online, also try to have a more formal way of earning, if it is possible. That is, if you have money, please invest in something that you can see. You can put up a small business. It might not be much, but you run a lot from it, because if you look at the case for M-Pesa, the SportPesa, there were people whose life were completely dependent on that trade only. But when it was closed down, if you had nothing else that you are doing, then you are done. Like, you have to take hits that you don't necessarily need to take. You need to always try to plan for future problems. The other thing is the other mistake I did, I think it was supposed to be one, but let me just state the other one. I was doing, I think I told some about this. I was doing some advertisement online, the Park Creeks. I think I told you some time back. I was doing online in work. You have to always keep on questioning the source of your work. Always. I was doing Park Creek jobs. I did not care to look who was offering the service or to follow up. Are they really legit business people? I made some money up to a point. I was making a lot of money, and when it came for the time to withdraw the money, I think you know what happens. You cannot withdraw. There are so many policies that you have to fulfill. There are so many things that could disqualify you from your own money that you need to always question the source of or the person doing the online business. You need to differentiate between the legit people and the con people. That is one key important factor that you should really consider. Always keep questioning, because much as you are working with people who are providing some jobs for you, they might also have some profit motives. Their motives might change because of some circumstances that you might not understand. And if you're expecting money, then they bring in some other policies that disqualify you and you lose on your earnings. So you keep on questioning those sources, because also their models and motives keeps on changing, and you don't know. You are on this side of the world and they are on the other side of the world. So you keep on learning every day who is legit and who is not. Yes, that's it.
Thank you very much, Bwana Charles. That is very interesting. So the word is the youth should be careful. Greed is not a good thing, and they should know when to transit from the formal, or as some says, traditional jobs to the online jobs. That is very, very interesting. Now, to you, Sam. Give us your parting shot, and maybe that's one mistake you can just quote kidogo.
Yeah, so for me, my parting shot would just be young people should believe in themselves. Let them understand that it is up to them to give out that solution. Because without that self-belief, no one else will believe you. You have to believe yourself first before other people can believe you. Make sure you take that risk, challenge yourself, face your fears. And there's always, at this time, there's Google, there's YouTube. Go on, do your research, get to learn more, be an expert in your field. The biggest mistake I would tell you that you would encounter and you need to try to avoid is mixing business with personal issues. So an example would be you don't have money to go to town, but you've made a business deal of, for example, just 1,000 bob. But you yourself, you don't have money. So what normally happens is you say, let me just take this 1,000 from the business, I will refund. Try to make a distinction between your business and your own self as an individual. If you need to put a salary on your business for yourself, even if it's that 1,000 bob, and you've said out of 1,000 it's 10 bob, let it be that. Try to not mix the two, because once you do that, your business will actually start going down, because you'll be using money from your business saying that you're going to refund. But trust me, that refund date never comes. So try to make that distinction. Treat your business as a business and yourself as an individual. Don't merge yourself into your business as if you're one account. So sometimes you might be broke completely, but your business has money. That is fine. You can borrow friends' money and all that, but let the business continue. Yeah. So that would be my advice, because you're going to experience that as you start a business. You'll always experience that challenge of mixing the two. Yeah.
Thank you very much. That is very, very important, separating between personal and business. Now, to you, Anne, I'd like you to give us, just wrap everything up, package it for the youth, and then give us your closing remarks. Anne, karibu.
So thank you so much. Just listening to what has been shared today, quite informative. And it reminds some of us of the journey that we have taken so far. So for me, some of the things I would want to leave our audience with would actually be the following. One, there is need for planning. And planning basically includes the issue of business models. If you can, develop a business plan for your business. It could be a 1-pager, it could be a 10-pager, it could be a 50-pager, but have a document that helps you to critically think through the ideas that you have, because that will help you in the decisions that you make. Secondly, part of the planning, this was talked about a lot, the issue of marketing. And yesterday I was just watching something where somebody says that at times we make the mistake of trying to outsource marketing. It becomes a bit of a challenge because we outsource without sharing the details of the business with the person we want to market for us. So if you're in a position to, please market your business. Market it because you're the one who understands it. You're the one who knows the nitty-gritty. You're the one who understands the benefits, the features, and you can communicate that to people. If you're not in a position to communicate, excuse me, then get an expert who can do that. And I think Skyzone have talked about digital marketing. Get an expert who can do that so that you share that information with them and then they can package it for you to be able to send it out. Part of the planning, I want to challenge the youth, the micro and small enterprises. I think in Kenya and within Africa, if you just looked at Kenya and Africa as a target market, because this is the online we are talking about, it's a huge market. But you'll find that for the smaller businesses, they might not have tailored solutions. They could be like the ERPs, the enterprise resource planning. They could be there for people to use, but you might find that small scale business might not know how to tap into that. So bring in innovation, because innovation could be about coming up with a new product or tweaking an existing product to fit a certain market. So if you are in a position to look at what is existing, how can you tweak it so that it can fit the smaller businesses, the smaller enterprises, because it's a huge market. I think it constitutes close to 80% of businesses in Kenya. They're actually micro and small enterprises. Then the other thing is the issue of contractual agreement. Any business you get into, let there be a contract. And in the contract, let it specify what exactly you're supposed to do, what are the deliverables, what are the timelines, how you are going to be paid, in what currency, because here we are talking about online, what currency, so that you are able to know how to go about it. You are able to plan, knowing that if I'm getting 100 shillings, 10% will go into investment. That will help. Then the issue of the impact of the environment. And here I want to look at what Sammy talked about, the government policies. In whatever sector you get into, understand the policies that govern that particular sector. Because as Neville said, there could be incentives that you can benefit from when you get into that. So please just try to find out what is available. What can you tap into? What opportunities are there that the government is providing specifically for the youth? Like when you look at the procurement, in all honesty, how many youth are actually accessing that? Because probably we have not fully understood how to access government procurement. So if we can understand that, then we put ourselves in a better position to do business. The other thing under environment is to encourage youth to come together, join associations. Associations are basically groupings of like-minded business people. So if you're in a certain sector, you'll find that there is an association for that. And the reason for this is to lobby for an enabling environment. If things are not working for you, then through the association, probably linked to Kenya Private Sector, or maybe Jua Kali Association, but Jua Kali is also under Kenya Private Sector. So looking at that and seeing how can you leverage on that channel to be able to push an agenda that makes it easier for you to do business within the space that you're operating into. Then being youth, you are energetic, you are passionate. There's so much life in you. Can you tap into that? Because that's a resource that you only have for a limited time. 10, 15 years down the line, you could be wishing that you had done ABCD. This is the time to do it. As they normally say, trees should have been planted 20 years ago, but because they are not, then now is the right time. So similarly, I want to challenge you, tap into that energy, tap into the passion that you have and see how best. And some of the things that come into mind, especially for youth, because maybe some are listening and they're wondering, this is too technical. Those who are into social, those who are into entertainment and all, there are things to do with gaming. There is Instagram, there is TikTok. These are places where you can actually create your own brand. And by creating your own brand, even YouTube, you can share content of things that you love. I see people sharing how to make, maybe it's a food channel, how to make chapati, how to make tea, or beauty regimes, how to cleanse your face or something of the sort. So if that is your passion as a youth, then go to the relevant platforms, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, create your own platform to be able to get yourself into that space. And once you get into that space, then you can start monetizing that particular platform. Monetizing basically means you have hit a certain requirement that is needed by that particular social platform, and now you can start earning from it. How do you earn from it? You earn from it by having people advertise their products. You earn from it by having affiliate marketing, where probably you advertise, you provide links for products to be bought. So there are ways that, if you don't want to be very technical, I love dancing. Like Aziad comes into mind, and sorry to say this, but there was a time that people were really on her case that she doesn't want to market for other people. And I'm like, she has taken her time to create a brand. That is where she's earning her money from. So if you want to use that platform, then pay for it. So basically, we need to appreciate that in as much as it's social media, you have taken the time and effort to create a brand. So you need to make money out of that. And probably, as Neville has said, that becomes your full-time job. So let's see how to leverage on that. Let us be curious as youth. What is out there? Keep on researching, take calculated risks, and see whatever business idea I have, can I scale it to the next level? Can I do it alone, or do I need to bring partners on board? So just be curious on a day-to-day. Diversification. Diversification basically means you can do 2-3 things, so that when this one is down, this other one will sustain you. So look at what complements each other, things that you are comfortable in doing, things that you are knowledgeable, things that you are passionate about, and roll them out, so that the cycle normally changes. When things are down, the other one keeps you going. And then finally, I've talked about several opportunities. There is the opportunity that I also wanted to share, things to do with Internet of Things. And Internet of Things basically talks about the day-to-day things that we can provide solutions to, like home security. We are looking at automating the home. If I'm in my room, if I'm in my bedroom, can I switch off the telly in the sitting room without having to go to the sitting room physically? Those are the things we are looking at. We've seen on telly people coming up with security features for the doors. I'm in the office, I'm not so sure if I close my door, I can just use my phone and do it. So let us be open-minded, let us be curious about it, and see what opportunities we can actually leverage on as youth. And as a parting shot, the opportunities are grand. The only limitation would be you and the attitude that you have towards those opportunities. You have a positive attitude towards them, go for it, and you'll make money out of it. Of course, taking calculated risks. But when your attitude is all wrong, then you'll feel like there's nothing to gain out of it. So wishing you all the best, just daring you to go for it. Thank you, Collins.
Thank you very much, Anne. Wow, that was elaborate and very informative. Asante sana. Now, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the panelists. There is something that Samuel said when he was in university. He was studying for a job. He wanted to be employed. And then somewhere in between it changed and he understood that he can move out of employment and go out. So we hope they will pick up such an idea and don't think of employment only, think outside the box. Then I like the way Anne brought out the issue of the attitude. The opportunities are there. There are so many, but are you willing to take them? So your attitude will definitely determine how high you go, your altitude. Asante sana. So to our panelists, thank you for taking your time to join us and inform the youth. Thank you for allowing us to get into your business. You've shared a lot, and I know it's not easy for everyone to come and talk about what they've gone through, but asanteni sana. To our viewers, asanteni sana. Thank you for the questions that have come in. Thank you for the comments. And we hope we have impacted you in one way or another. And we say, join us for the next week as we continue trying to inform you about these topics. The most important thing in life is always learning, and it never ends. It always continues day in, day out. Lastly, I'd like to take this opportunity to say what we can do in life is simple. Take one step, move ahead, take another one, fall down, take another one, dust yourself, and continue. If you decide to stop at one point, then you will finish there. Asanteni sana, and bye. Auf Wiedersehen, au revoir. I think those are the languages that I have. We can wave to the crowd and say bye. Our guests can take a virtual tea before they leave.
Thank you.
Asanteni sana.